Amy from Select Travel Holidays, home of Cruise Select, and welcome to our exclusive presentation with Shane Riley, the Associate Vice President of International Sales for Virgin Voyages. Virgin are no strangers to travel, but they did make waves a couple of years ago when Sir Richard announced that they would be launching their own cruise line, which we now know is Virgin Voyages, and that they would throw out the cruise rule book, get rid of stuffy formalities and beige buffets, promising a unique Virgin twist on everything on board. Earlier this year, my mum Rachel and I had the opportunity to spend 2 nights on board their first ship, the Scarlet Lady, while she was in Dover. And it's fair to say that we were both surprised and very impressed. Those video clips you saw at the start were filmed during our stay, and if I may, here's a brief video where we recalled our impressions of the ship.
Welcome to Scarlet Lady. Well, it's certainly a miserable day in Dover. You can't see the cliffs, but we've certainly enjoyed our walk around the ship. Unfortunately, we couldn't really see the outside decks because obviously everything had to be covered and protected. But I can imagine out in the Caribbean they will be absolutely fantastic. I didn't have great expectations, if I'm totally honest, regarding the food, and I have to say I've been blown away by the food. Last night we ate in Test Kitchen, which is probably the best tasting meal I've ever had. So creative. The tastes were absolutely out of this world. The staff, again, considering, well, it hasn't set sail yet, doesn't set sail for another 5 weeks or so. There's plenty of staff around. They all seem genuinely very happy, very pleased to be here. Very attentive, but without being stuffy, so relaxed, which is what I love. Forget your dress code, it's literally what you feel comfortable in. Wear it, doesn't matter what it is. And we've looked around the cabins. I mean, our cabin is a central terrace, which, to be honest, is fine, I think, unless you want to splash out a lot more on a suite. But it's certainly got everything you need there. We did look at some suites, and yes, if you want to spend a few more sort of dollars, so to speak, then there's some lovely suites available. I like all the public areas. They're very sort of funky, quite, well, yeah, I think quite different to other ships. Pretty much music changes depending where you are on the ship. And last night went to the show, and I'm certainly not a show person on any ship. I did go, and it was, well, I sat on the edge of my seat. It was absolutely fantastic. Can't remember what it was called though. Amy, what was it called?
Dual Reality. Dual
Reality, that was it, yeah. And it was an hour, but it didn't seem like an hour. Yes, I was sitting on the edge of my seat, but it was amazing, really amazing, very different to anything else I've seen on a cruise ship.
So, when Virgin announced that they were doing their own cruise line, I was excited because any new cruise line, a new cruise ship, it is, it's a new entry into the market. It's something to sort of learn about. And of course, they said they were going to do things differently, and I think it's fair to say that they have. I'm not sure if it's necessary to completely disparage the rest of the cruising industry, because I think actually there is a cruise ship out there for everyone, and this is genuinely a cruise ship for the non-cruisers. So being someone who's cruised for 20 odd years, some of it is, you have to get your head around it a bit because we're so used to the cruising norms. But Virgin have actually delivered something really different, and I think it's something that if you love the New York or the London dinner and bar scene, then this would be fantastic for you. We've had some experiences with the food. I think so far the Test Kitchen was my favourite. That was amazing. That venison in particular was probably one of the most incredible dishes I've ever had, and the service was fantastic. I mean, the crew all around have been so friendly, they're helpful. It's got such a unique atmosphere and ambience, and it's so much more relaxed. There's what they call happenings, so sometimes there'll be, I think there's a Mardi Gras starting from the back of the ship, where people have masks and that just suddenly appeared. So sometimes if you're in the right place at the right time, you can have a real party. And the entertainment has been different, it's been unique. I was completely blown away by the, I'm not sure what it was called, it was like this unnamed, untitled dance show thingy or something, but that was amazing, that was interactive. I've never seen anything like it on land or sea. That was incredible, that was just such a party atmosphere. And yeah, so the public areas are fantastic. They've got some little nooks and crannies where there'll be a bar in a corner or something, so there's quite interesting use of decks. But outside, I mean, okay, we've been rainy, blustery, horrible Dover, well, horrible weather, we're not disparaging Dover, but it's not the Caribbean, is it? But for once there's actually so much like deck space used for bars and relaxing, and I think sometimes cruise ships don't use enough of their deck space for socialising, and but I think this would be a great opportunity for that to so also what else we enjoyed, Razzle Dazzle brunch was fantastic. Yeah, I think it's really exceeded my expectations. It's because obviously I'm not gonna lie, I did have some doubts, but I think they've delivered something really unique, and it's certainly got a place for it in the market for perhaps those who wouldn't have cruised before, but want to try something different. So yeah, really impressed.
And now we're going to hear from Shane, who's going to tell us about all the unique Virgin twists that are on board Scarlet Lady and the rest of her oncoming fleet with Virgin Voyages. Before a little bit of Q&A, where I asked some of your questions and some of my own to Shane.
Hello and welcome to this introduction to Virgin Voyages presentation in partnership with the amazing team over at Cruise Select. My name's Shane Riley, I'm the Associate Vice President at Virgin Voyages, and it is my pleasure to be able to give you an introduction about Virgin Voyages and invite you to set sail the Virgin Way. So what does it mean to set sail the Virgin Way? So we have created a fresh approach to cruising with a ship that is designed to be one class where everybody feels like a rock star, and it's all first class. We offer intimate, exceptional experiences throughout the ship and offer a ship of a medium-sized scale, which are inspired by the incredible yachts of the world. So we've taken inspiration from yacht design to be able to create some amazing cruise ships that do feel much more like a yacht than a typical cruise experience. We also offer an adults only experience. So you do need to be 18 plus to be able to sail with us. So we like to say no kids, no kidding. So no kids are applicable on board, which means that we can offer an amazing adult only experience, which is consistent throughout the year. So you don't need to worry about how many kids may be on board when it comes to school holidays. You can sail at peak season in the world's best destinations without worrying about having 300 or 400 kids on board. We've created a ship that is full of one-of-a-kind experiences. We believe every sailor deserves to feel like a rock star, and we designed a ship that feels much more like a boutique hotel at sea with a festival-style lineup of entertainment. The whole ship is designed to offer a refreshingly different way to sail. So we're not into stuffy formalities, but instead we prefer to offer a relaxed luxury. We also include much more in the price as well. So we have much more inclusions that we'll come on to talk about, and as well as reasonable and fair bar pricing. So it's not about getting on board and being a captured audience and feeling like you're being ripped off by the bar prices. Instead, we want you to feel like everything that you buy on board Virgin Voyages experiences is incredible value for money, and you really feel like you are getting value for every dollar that you spend on board. And then, of course, in the day and age of sailing in a post-COVID world, we have introduced some voyage well protocols, which I'll come on to talk about a little bit later. So let's take a look at the beautiful Scarlet Lady. We do start with Scarlet Lady, so we have one ship to start, and we do have another 3 ships following very quickly. So next year, we will launch Valiant Lady, which is our second ship, and then the year after, we will launch our yet unnamed Ship 3, and then the year after that, the yet unnamed Ship 4. So in the next 4 years, we will have 4 of our beautiful ships sailing the 7 seas. So let's take a look at what is included within the experience. So we like to include much more within the cost of your holiday. What we don't want you to do is feel like you get on board and you are surprised by lots of hidden fees and hidden extras that you weren't expecting to pay. So instead, we promise simple, transparent pricing without those hidden fees and with so much more included. So unlike traditional cruise lines, we don't have a main dining room or buffet restaurants. Instead, we have over 20 different restaurants included, which I guess you would probably call more of specialty dining restaurants on other lines. But instead, every single one of our restaurants is included. So you have over 20 different eateries to choose from, and every single one of them is included within the price. We also include tips and service charges. So our crew are our crew. It's our job to take great care of them, and it's your job to have an amazing holiday. So with that in mind, tips are included and we'll take care of our crew, so you can just concentrate on having an amazing holiday experience. We also include unlimited Wi-Fi, so you can share the amazing holiday experience that you're having with your friends and family back home, and you can also be able to check your email should you need to, but that is all included as well. We also have some amazing entertainment options that, again, are all included within the cost of the price. So whether it's spontaneous street type entertainment or whether it's some of our amazing production shows, they are all included within the cost of your holiday. Now, with over 20 restaurants included, it's fair to say that we need to make sure that we help you keep off those holiday pounds. So we do include group fitness classes, including meditation, cycling and HIIT classes. They're all included, again, within the cost of the holiday. And when it comes to hydration, we do also include basic bevies as standard. So that does include filtered still and sparkling water, non-pressed juices, sodas, tea and drip coffee, again, are all included within the cost of the holiday. So let's take a look at our sailors and who would love a Virgin Voyages experience. So if you're thinking, I don't really know much about Virgin and I want to really understand whether it's the holiday for me. Now, the first important thing to talk about is we are not just targeting the under 40s market that many people think. Our future sailors of all ages, and we don't care whether you are 18 or 85. We just know that if you're an eager explorer who loves to play hard and loves to take part in life, then and you relish what the world has to offer, then you will certainly love the experience that we have to offer you. So as I say, our experience is certainly for the eager explorers that embrace life, that really relish the diversity that the world has to offer, and are looking for something relaxed that is still enjoying an elevated style and sophistication. So if you want to be able to enjoy 5-star surroundings without having to be told what to wear and when to wear it, then certainly a Virgin Voyages experience would be for you. Equally, we want you to be able to holiday on your terms. So we don't have stuffy dress codes, formalities, dining times, and rules and regulations for you to follow on board. Instead, we want you to be able to create the holiday of your choice. And it's our job to create a festival for you to be able to choose what you want from your holiday experience. Our sailors prefer to avoid large dining halls, buffet restaurants, and onboard art auctions. So instead, we've created an experience which is much more like the best cities of the world. So imagine going to the likes of Las Vegas, New York, London. We've taken inspiration from those best cities and created dining choices that reflect those amazing destinations. And we've created entertainment and choices that reflect that you would have if you were to go to some of the best cities in the world. And most importantly, to be a sailor, you agree with us that age is just a number. So although our minimum age is 18 plus, we really think age is just a number, and it's about the outlook on life, dancing on tables and being able to embrace everything that life has to offer. So moving on to when it comes to dining, we like to offer flavour without borders and cover charges. So as I mentioned, all of the restaurants on board Scarlet Lady and her sister ships are all included within the cost of the holiday. Now, I like to say there are 7 main restaurants, if you like, and then lots more choices that you can see at the bottom there. So I thought it'd be useful just to give you a bit of an insight as to what you can find on board when it comes to our dining experiences. Now, Gumbay is our lively, one-of-a-kind at sea Korean barbecue. It's a perfect place to hang out with your friends, old and new, and get hands-on with meat grilling and soju drinking. This is a really sociable restaurant where you have a barbecue in the middle of the table and you have the opportunity to grill the meats as you go along, or ask your servers to help you out, or you sit back and enjoy an amazing Gumbay experience. This Korean barbecue has proved to be incredibly popular when we've done some of our test voyages, so we're sure it'll continue to do so in the future. So that is Gumbay, our Korean barbecue restaurant. For something a little bit different and a little bit healthier, if you want something healthy without having to sacrifice taste, then Razzle Dazzle is the place to be. It boasts a bold interior and it's a happening hotspot to get some creative surprises on some classic and comfort go-to foods. So with a menu that is going to be naughty and nice, you can choose from one side of the menu that skews towards plant-based dishes, or indulge on the other side with meats and sweet treats and gluttonous options. So Razzle Dazzle is certainly a place to go to if you're looking for some comfort food or something that little bit healthier. Then we also have the Wake Restaurant, probably one of my favourite locations on our ships. The Wake Restaurant offers steak and seafood with the perfect mix of sophistication. When you enter into the Wake, you head down this beautiful spiral staircase and you enter into this amazing venue, which has beautiful views over the back of the ship, hence the name, the Wake Restaurant. Here it's steak and seafood, as I mentioned, but most importantly, again, all included within the cost of the holiday. Then for something a little bit more casual, if you were looking for something a little bit more light bites, then the Dock House is our casual Mediterranean eatery, which offers effortless elegance and enables you to be able to sit back with some live music and enjoy house-made pita breads and dips and special treats from our roving meze cart as well. So very Mediterranean inspired light bites, grazing food as you enjoy some wonderful live music in this beautiful venue. It does also have the widest selection of rosé wines. So if you do like a drop of the pink, then this is a place to be able to go grab a beautiful glass of rosé wine and enjoy some of our amazing treats from our roving meze cart in the Dock House. Moving on to the test kitchen. The test kitchen is our laboratory style eatery. It's part cookery school, part restaurant. It's educational, it's experiential, it's social. So this is where you give over your taste buds to our expert chefs who provide you with a menu just listing an ingredient. And you really are passing over the experience to our expert chefs to be able to create incredible dishes for you. It's exceptionally theatrical. So as you can see there, dishes are brought over to you, the cup is lifted, you have this smoke that reveals your dish. It's an amazing place, Instagrammable memories, social media memories, and again, included within the cost of the holiday. If you were to do something like this on land, a restaurant equivalent standard that inspired us is normally around about £150 per person for a tasting menu, where here you get to enjoy an amazing 5-course dinner, again, included within the cost of your holiday. And it really truly is a one-of-a-type experience. Now, we said we wanted to reinvent the type of holiday that people have at sea and rethink the way that cruising is offered. Now, one of the things that really drove us in our decisions is around sustainability and about sailing green to keep the oceans blue. So with that in mind, we really had to rethink about how we would offer a buffet type experience. So we wanted our sailors to be able to have light bites and a place to be able to grab and go when it comes to their food options, but we didn't want the wastage that comes along with having a traditional buffet restaurant. Equally, it's very difficult to offer high quality food in a buffet restaurant when food could often be on display for a couple of hours. So we want to make sure that we can offer an elevated experience that moves away from that boring self-service buffet experience. Now, the galley is modelled after the popular food halls where you can taste a variety of options, and it's your place to go to if you are looking for that quick bite, quick lunch or relaxed dinner. It features more than 8 shops and food truck style carts. Each spot has a unique concept with signature dishes that change throughout the day. Now, the galley boasts a bakery, a panini shop, a burger grill, a taco shack, a sushi bar, a noodle bar, and a soup and salad stand, as well as a 24-hour American diner. The important thing here is everything is made from scratch, just like every one of our restaurants. Anything is made to order. So if you were to place an order for a burger, it will only start to be made when you place the order. Equally, if you want a bento box, that will be made fresh to order, as well as everything else available throughout the entire ship. So nothing is pre-plated, nothing is sat there waiting for you to pick it up. Everything is ready, made fresh for you to be able to grab and go once you place your order. So lots of quick bite and delicious food. We're also the only place in the world that we know of where you can shake your phone and get champagne delivered to you wherever you are on board Scarlet Lady and her sister ship. So we have a wonderful app which enables you to be able to create the experience that you want on board. It enables you to check in and get everything you need to do without having to wait at the terminal. And it also enables you to be able to, as I say, shake for champagne or pre-book experiences whilst you are on board the ship. We don't want you to waste any of your holiday time standing in line. So your app is where you will join virtual queues. So if you haven't booked a table for a particular restaurant, but you decide you want to eat there this evening, then you go onto the app, join a virtual queue, go and have a drink somewhere on the ship, and we will let you know when your table is ready. So the app is designed to be your best friend, to keep you happy, as we say, and make sure that you can have an amazing holiday experience without wasting any time at all. So when it comes to entertainment, we like to say unexpected the expected. So we've done a lot of research when it comes to creating the Virgin Voyages experience. And our sailors told us that they didn't want it to have a typical watered down Broadway production. Instead, they wanted to see epic entertainment that is really one of a kind and never been done before at sea. So with that in mind, we have created a completely new type of theatre that we call the Red Room. And as you can see on the picture here, the Red Room actually can transform into lots of different modes. So the mode that you can see there is in runway mode, where the audience is at both sides of the production. We also have it in a traditional theatre mode, where the seats can move and actually be in a traditional theatre. Or we can also have the theatre where there's no seats whatsoever, and you are stood in the middle of the live action. So we've partnered with some of the best entertainment production companies in the world that have enabled us to be able to create some of the world's best productions that you will never see anywhere else. So the show that you can see on the screen right now is called Dual Reality, and it is based on the story of Romeo and Juliet. So when you enter the theatre, you'll be given either a red or a blue bandana, then you'll be seated either on the red side or on the blue side. And therefore you become a Montague or a Capulet and you cheer on your side. And the story is told through just this incredible world of acrobats and really modern Cirque du Soleil type activity. So it really is a really one-of-a-kind experience, and it really is proven to be exceptionally popular with our future sailors. But if a bit of you time is what you're looking for, if you're looking to really get away from the world and you're looking to relax, then you can head to our award-winning Redemption Spa. Now, this is a place that is designed to emulate what we think a mermaid's cave would look like. So you have these incredible, beautiful hot beds next to the porthole windows you can see there on the left-hand side. So you can lay on these hot beds and look out to sea and really let your mind wander and really explore the waves beyond those portals. So this is a beautiful place for you to really come and relax, unwind. You can head to our saunas, our steam rooms, our salt baths. You can go to our mud room. So this is a place to really unwind and kind of let your worries of the world drift away. And especially given what we've all been through in the last 12 months or so, then definitely this is the place to be able to go unwind and recharge those precious batteries. So when it comes to accommodation, we do have a wide choice of accommodation on board our ships. So 93% of our accommodation have ocean views, and 86% of them have balconies with their very own hammocks as well. So if you were to be lucky enough to be sailing in one of our balcony cabins that we like to call the sea terrace, then you will get one of these hammocks issued to you on your balcony. Then it's a place for you to be able to sit back, relax, and again, watch the world go by. The hammocks are incredibly comfy, and there's nothing better than sat there with the sun on your face and being able to just watch the world go by. We, of course, have adapted cabins. So we have 29 adapted cabins and suites. So if you are a user of a wheelchair, or you just need a cabin that has a few more grab rails and extra facilities, then of course we can accommodate your request as well. If you are traveling solo, then we do have 40 inside cabins and 6 sea view cabins that are specifically designed and priced for those people that are traveling by themselves. And we also have 63 Rockstar suites and 15 Mega Rockstar suites. So if you are looking to splurge and indulge, then certainly speak to the team at Cruise Select. They'll be able to tell you about everything that's available for you in terms of all of those options when it comes to restaurant choices. But most importantly as well, we want to make sure that we are keeping you fit, health, and able to enjoy your holiday with a great peace of mind. So we have really pulled together our Voyage Well program, which is designed to make sure that you keep safe and well on board. And that includes our testing program, so making sure everybody that is boarding our ships is tested and is able to make sure that they are negative before they step on board the ship. We will also keep it distant by making sure that we do limit the numbers of passengers on the ship whilst we're going through these COVID times. So I did mention earlier that the ship does carry 2,700 guests, but we will be reducing that dramatically to make sure that there is much more space on board to enable social distancing. We also offer a contactless experience. So I previously mentioned the app, but we also have our wearable, which is called the band. Now, the band is designed to be your room key. It also acts as a digital wallet, so you can scan and pay for items as you move throughout the ship. And it's also what we'll use to be able to locate you on the ship if you do shake for champagne, where we bring champagne to wherever you are on board the ship. We are also delighted to be installing Atmos Air, which is an air purification system across the entire ship, and it disinfects the air, killing 99.9% of viruses. And it is proven to be highly effective against COVID-19 as well. So again, keeping you safe. We are also introducing further hand sanitizers, dispensers across the entire ship, so you'll have plenty more options to be able to keep your hands clean. And as of course I mentioned earlier, we have no buffet restaurants or large dining halls. All of our food is freshly prepared, made to order and delivered by our crew. So we don't have any concerns about cross-contamination when it comes to buffet restaurants. And of course, we will be continuously cleaning. So the ship undergoes continuous deep cleaning and sanitization before and after each sailing. So we'll use fog sanitization, which will sanitize every single piece of equipment on board the ship, including all the touch points in your cabins as well. So you can be safe in the knowledge that you'll be taken care of once you are sailing on board. So let's take a look at just some of the destinations that you can enjoy when it comes to a Virgin Voyages experience. So we do right now have two ships on sale. We have Scarlet Lady. She is going to be year-round in the Caribbean, and she's going to be offering 4, 5, and 7-night itineraries, departing from Miami, visiting destinations such as Mexico, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Key West, as well as including an exclusive stop in Bimini to visit our beach club on the way as well. Now, ship number 2, Valiant Lady, she'll be offering 7-night itineraries, sailing out of Barcelona in the Mediterranean. So she's going to be offering those destinations, visiting likes of Spain, Gibraltar, France, Italy, and every single one of the itineraries will feature an overnight in Ibiza as well. So right now you can grab yourself a 7-night voyage in the Mediterranean, including those all those added extras that we talked about, which add up to over $600 in value. They're all included for a fly cruise at £960 if you were to head out to the Mediterranean. So incredible value for money, and again includes an overnight stay in Ibiza in all of those on all of those Mediterranean itineraries. So hopefully that's giving you a taste of everything that we have available for you on board Scarlet Lady and her sister ships. There's so much more to talk about, but we are running out of time. But the team at Cruise Select are incredibly knowledgeable. They are trained by the Cruise Line International Association to be able to give you the best information available. So make sure that you do get in touch with the team at Cruise Select, and they will certainly help you out with your Virgin Voyages experience in the future. So that's all from me. So thank you for tuning in. On behalf of the whole team here at Virgin Voyages, bon voyage, stay safe, and we look forward to welcoming you on board Scarlet Lady or her sister ships very soon in the future. Thank you and take care.
Hi, so I'm Amy from Select Travel Holidays, home of Cruise Select, and I am here with Shane Riley from Virgin Voyages. Thank you, Shane, firstly, for being involved. And And thanks for your presentation. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure the rest of our viewers did as well. So we're going to do some questions now. The all important Q&A, where we've actually got some from our own clients.
Good. Yeah, normally we're on a nice panel and we get to do this in front of people, but the new world, we'll do it digitally. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
it's very true. But I mean, first of all, I'd like to say that I mean, obviously 2020 was meant to be a very exciting year for Virgin Voyages, with Scarlet Lady debuting, and obviously we were really lucky to have a chance to see her in February before the world went completely mad. And I must say, my mum and I actually loved it. We didn't really know what to expect. I think we've been cruising so long, it's hard to, in a way, get your head round like what a non-cruise experience would be like on a ship. But
yeah, exactly.
we thought it was fabulous. So yeah, we really enjoyed it. And you sort of made a point of some of those, unique changes that you make in your presentation. But of course, cruising is really about a lot of it is really about the destinations, and you visit some amazing places. I know at the moment you're really just offering the Caribbean and the Mediterranean, and we don't know what the other, third and fourth.
We have a third and fourth ship, and the benefit of having ships is the fact that we can put them anywhere in the world. So we haven't revealed where ships 3 and 4 will go yet, but you're right. Right now we offer 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 nights in the Caribbean, so a huge choice. And then in the Mediterranean we have our 7-night itineraries from Barcelona.
And I mean, you've done such a great job of ensuring that the onboard experience is different and unique. So how does Virgin Voyages, how will you do it differently when it comes to ports of call?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we really wanted to think differently about how we offer a shore experience versus traditionally how cruise lines operate it. And a lot of that came from research. So we did a lot of research with cruisers and those people that don't cruise. And the feedback from both groups are actually very similar. Those that cruise felt like they quite often get shortchanged in destinations and they don't quite have enough time. And those people that don't cruise were very much think that they didn't really think there was much point because they didn't feel like they got enough of the destination. Everything was a teaser and a taste, but not enough of the destination. So what we did was purposely look at how can we re-engineer that experience so we can stay much later and we can actually have overnight opportunities in ports of call that warrant staying later and staying overnight. So, for example, in Monte Carlo and Ibiza, we stay overnight on all of our Mediterranean itineraries. A number of other ports of call, we stay late. So we really visited those ports of call to identify really seeing how the destination changes into the night. And where we felt the destination was equally as exciting in the night, we purposely engineered our itineraries to stay there late into the evening. So we actually had a team of people that went to go suss out every destination and look at how we can kind of virginize things in as many ways as we can. When it comes to shore experiences, we call them shore things. So when it comes to our shore things, we wanted to really look at a way that it's not about getting people on a 50-seater coach and taking them on an island tour and bringing them back to the destination. We wanted to say, how can we do things in a different way that gives our passengers, our sailors, an experience that they cannot get elsewhere. So we looked at how can we do the usual museum tours, but do it in a way that you can, again, it's exclusive to us. So for example, if you were to go to Key West, typically most people want to go to Hemingway House when they're there. Normally there's quite a big line outside. So we have exclusive access with them that we actually have priority access before it even opens, that we take our sailors before it even opens, and you have cocktails around this pool at lunchtime. And you actually have an elongated time there. We have in lots of our different ports of call. So for example, in Ibiza, we wanted to have an option that our sailors didn't just want to do necessarily the party scene. They wanted to have the opportunity to go and relax and go and see some places that they may have never thought about. So you can actually go on a private yacht and go across to Formentera, and we'll take you to a beach club in Formentera, which normally you would have to have a membership for. Similarly in Olbia, we can take you by helicopter, by yacht, or by coach, or by car to a private beach club in Olbia as well. And in Barcelona, we partnered with a local organisation where We actually use former homeless people in Barcelona that have been given a chance to work in the tourism industry. They know the city better than anybody else because they've lived it and breathed it. So they can actually tell us the real story behind these streets and the locations in Barcelona. That is more than just a walking tour pointing at different buildings. You actually get to feel the heart of the city.
Wow,
that's some of the examples.
Yeah, that's really impressive. And also I quite like that you mentioned that you do have some alternatives for people who perhaps aren't so into the party scene, because I think a lot of what we've seen so far with Virgin Voyages is the amazing life on board, the entertainment, etc. And it's great to see that there's actually the opportunity to get some form of like immersion as well, and I guess a form of enrichment.
So we do throw amazing parties because nightlife is important to us, but we call it the detox retox mentality. So we want our sailors to be able to have a great time and retox, but we want them to have the opportunity to detox and have spa time, have downtime. We've got as many well-being spaces on board as we have drinking and party spaces. So it's all about reconnecting with yourself and having some time to really kind of rediscover and re-energize, and the ports of call are a key part of that. So being able to have the opportunity to go to an exclusive beautiful beach club where you would normally have to be a member for a number of years to get access to it, we can get access to that. For equally people who want to go and have a great time in the nightlife of Ibiza, then we'll get them VIP access to the best DJs in the world. And we want to have that best of both worlds. It's not just about partying. The average age of our clients right now is around about 45. So our clientele is normally between the 40 and 60 mark. So when we talk about partying, it is much more sophisticated style partying. Perhaps people would necessarily think of the Ibiza of the 80s and 90s, and we're looking to offer a different experience than that.
Yeah, so no phone parties on board or anything.
No phone parties, unfortunately not. I'm disappointed about that. But yeah, no phone parties. But parties in a way that people who want to have a sophisticated experience will enjoy.
Yeah, but it'd also be great to see some of the ports of call at night, because I think that's something that the nightlife you don't really get to experience ashore when you're on a cruise.
So we looked at it, and 80 to 90% of cruisers we're calling at 8 a.m. and leaving at 4 p.m. And we thought, well, it feels really early to be leaving destinations. So we said maybe some destinations will arrive a little bit later, especially, for example, we want to always have this rhythm and routine of the ship experience, right? So if we're going to throw Scarlet Night, which is our biggest party on board, then we don't want to be arriving at a destination at 8 o'clock the next morning.
No.
So we might arrive at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. in somewhere like Marseille, but we don't leave until 10 p.m. at night. So you get a chance to maybe have dinner out or have dinner on the ship and then go for a little wander down the promenade, but you still have the best of both worlds and having that mixture. With Ibiza, we actually arrive into Ibiza at 6 p.m. So you'll have a relaxing sea day, you'll have time to rejuvenate on board, have some time in the spa, etc. Arrive at 6 p.m, have dinner, get off the ship and go do what you want to do. Then you have the whole next day again in Ibiza to be able to go do the day part. So we're just trying to think a little bit differently, because you're on holiday, so we kind of think it's a little bit rude to kind of get people into ports of call at docking at 6 a.m. in the morning, and it's a ship. You end up hearing the noise of docking, and we want people to be able to have that relaxation as much as possible.
And I mean, from my experience on board, you certainly wouldn't want to miss brunch at Razzle Dazzle. So
no, exactly. Brunch at Razzle Dazzle is a hell of an experience, so you definitely want to be part of that. So we want to kind of re-engineer how typically cruise line thinking is done, 8 till 4, actually can you arrive later and stay later, because then you get more of the destination, you get more of your relaxing holiday. At the end of your holiday, we don't turf you off at 8 a.m, you can check out at 12 noon, so you actually get longer at the end of your holiday to, the last day of your holiday shouldn't be the most stressful time. So we want people to leave the holiday, have some brunch, and don't feel like they're being turfed off because at the end of the holiday, we want them to make the most of the last few hours on board.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks. And actually, this is again about ports of call. One of our festival guests, John, has particularly asked, and obviously this is a key area, probably most people will be thinking it, but it's particular to shore excursions. He's asked, what extra precautions have been taken to protect from COVID-19, both on the ships at ports and on the excursions at destinations?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So We've launched our Voyage Well program for onboard. So we've got lots of procedures and precautions to make sure that we prevent COVID from getting on board the ship in the first place. So the most part of our work is prevention. Obviously, when you get to ports of call, it becomes a very different experience. I think we're fortunate in the fact that next year we will have 2 ships operating. So we were meant to have 1 this year and then 2 next year. We only have the 2 ships. So we really have the 2 ships to focus on getting this right. We don't have a fleet of 25 to worry about. So in some ways, that's an advantage right now. As much as we would like 25 ships. But right now, it's an advantage to have a small fleet. We also offer itineraries that repeat the same destinations. So we're on a circuit. And so Scarlet Lady does a circuit, the same itineraries, and Valiant Lady does 3 different itineraries, but to different destinations, but they are the same every 3 weeks. So by having that regular nature of the ports of call, we're able to regulate the things that we do in those ports of call. So we promise that every single thing that we do, if we're going to do a shore excursion, everything that we do from that shore thing will be in line with the quality and experience that you would expect on board. And they have to meet those strict protocols that we have on board as well. We will also be offering the temperature testing that you would expect as well. If I'm honest with you, there's still some questions about, do people have to stick to a shore excursion when they get off, or can they travel independently? That is still a little bit kind of in debate right now, not just for us, but from Clear's standpoint. I would suspect initially that it will be driven by shore excursions, and just so we can keep people in a bubble. And in that way, you're only going to go to facilities that have been checked by us, that are regulated, and we know are clean to the same standard as we have on board. So we're never putting anybody at risk, and therefore you can come back to the ship in that same bubble. Keeping people in that bubble is really important, and that's what makes cruising arguably one of the safest holiday forms, because we can keep people in those bubbles.
Yes, that's true.
I would say that's probably the way it would go initially, I would say. And then as we get more ideas of testing and quicker testing, then we're going to test everybody before they get on board anyway. But the idea is we get quicker testing, then we can do that in every port of call as well, which will be helpful.
Yeah, because I know we've already gone into a bit about your Voyage Well program, and you mentioned it in your presentation. And I understand that you actually got an expert advisory panel that you sort of worked on with this, and you got some partnerships with, like, you mentioned about your fresh air on board and all this. And
we've got a partnership with I say a company or organisation called Atmosphere, and we're lucky that also we only have 2 ships, so that's lucky. But we're lucky that they're brand new. So we already have the latest technology because the ships are brand new. But obviously, given a global pandemic, things come to the forefront where new technology becomes available very quickly. So Atmosphere is something that we are fitting on the ships now, which will basically disinfect the air. So it's not only is it a filtration system, we already have clean air, fresh air filtered throughout the ship as standard. But now this will allow us to also make sure that air is also disinfected. There's no taste to it. There's no feel to it. You don't notice it. There is no health implications other than cleaning the air for you. And it means that when that air also touches the surfaces, it's also cleaning the surfaces itself. That's in addition to all of our cleaning, but it means the air itself is eradicating viruses. And Atmosphere is being proven to be very effective against COVID-19. So hence why we wanted to make that big investment to get that technology on the ship as well.
Yeah, excellent. And I know you mentioned about the testing protocols before departure. So would that also be when people come, when they return to the ship after an excursion or a day at port? Or
yeah, that's still up in the air a little bit at the moment as to whether that is for every port. It's purely down to the speed of the test. So certainly before everybody boards, and this is actually going to be for any cruise line sailing from the US, because it's a stipulation that's been put in place to resume sailing in the US, that everyone does need to be tested before boarding. So you may find that you do arrive at the terminal a little bit earlier than you perhaps would have done normally, so you can have that test. And I believe the results come back in 30 minutes, so you can be tested and then you'll be then cleared to go through once that's done. But then we're obviously looking about how can we do things quicker in ports of call and those kind of things. And then we also have to obviously, in the unfortunate instance that someone does test positive, what do we do there? Like how do we take care of those sailors? Because we'll never abandon them in the destination, and they'll never have their money wasted. So if they get to a port, if they're in Miami and they test positive, we will always give them a future voyage credit so they can then sail again at another time that suits them. So there's lots of insurance policies out there now that are also protecting against this. So the more time goes on, the more we learn.
That's true. And I think, like you mentioned, insurance policies, that does seem to be something that is increasingly being covered, because initially it wasn't, but that's a whole different topic. But I mean, you also mentioned sailing green to keep the oceans blue, which I like. That, you know, quite clever wording. And you use the example of reducing food wastage in your, you know, your galley as opposed to the traditional cruise buffets. I mean, I find sustainability and all that sort of stuff really fascinating. So what other changes or adaptations have you made to ensure that Virgin Voyages are as sustainable or as green as possible?
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's actually not just an afterthought with us. We don't think about sustainability as kind of, okay, how can we retrofit something to be sustainable? We actually do everything from the beginning to say, how can we make something sustainable from day one? And we were the first cruise line to be carbon neutral from day one. So from first day of operation, we offset all of the carbon. So naturally, you do have elements of carbon by obviously operating a ship. So we looked at how can we offset that to be carbon neutral from day zero, which was a big investment from us, and we've done that. We also have designed the ship in a certain way, so the ship does look very different to other ships. So she is much more eco-friendly than other necessarily new builds. So that's a great asset. The ship itself is intelligent. So we have this clever technology where cabins can actually shut themselves down. So their cabins will actually go to sleep. So in the Caribbean, one of the biggest drains that you would have is people leave the air conditioning going because obviously they want their cabin to be cool when they come back. But unfortunately, they leave the curtains open so the sun is coming in. So what we would do is we have these thermo blinds. So when you leave your cabin, the cabin will go to sleep. It will draw those thermo blinds. It will reduce the air conditioning. So it'll still give you the same effect of having a cool room, but without having air conditioning working against sunlight coming through the window. So it means we have much less wasted energy. We have induction technology throughout all our galley kitchens. So rather than using gas, which again is heating up the environment because those steams are going through, we have this induction technology. So we're only using technology where the pan is on the hob. So as soon as you take it off, you're not wasting any energy. So that's a really good point as well. One thing I do love, which is probably one of my favourite features, which sounds a bit ridiculous, but is our dishwashers. So our dishwashers on board, and normally when you open the dishwashers, all this steam comes out. So we've actually got these dishwashers where we actually recycle the steam, and the steam powers 50% of the energy for the next cycle. So so it's self-fulfilling. So it actually ends up in a situation where the dishwasher is running itself. Because it's recycling normally a waste product of the steam into energy, which is particularly clever. We've got loads of other technology advances that recycle waste heat from the engines. So we use the heat from the engines to heat the water on the ship, which is one of the first companies to use that technology called Climb On. So there's loads of other things that we do, but things like the buffet restaurants, not only does it mean that we deliver higher quality food, by not having that waste, by having food on display and then thrown away and people piling their plates high and then throwing it away, we've purely reinvested that money into the quality. So that means that we've got more servers there, we've got chefs there to make things fresh from scratch. So if you go and place an order for, I don't know, noodles, for example, you were to go to the noodle bar, the noodles start to be made for when you're there. Sushi is made throughout the day, and you can pick up a bento box and take it away with you. We don't have anything in those big trays under heat lamps. And unfortunately, when you're on a ship, they can only be on display for a very limited time. So quite often the food is just literally being scraped in the bin. And you can't recycle it like you would do on land and make a different dish out of it. It has to be destroyed. So it's incredibly wasteful. So by eradicating that and having our galley, which is the food court, it feels much more like going to an upmarket shopping mall or an upmarket hotel where you can go and grab sushi bites, or you can go and have noodles made from scratch. You have these cooking stations where everything is made fresh. And I think the quality is better, but it's also way better for the environment as well.
Yeah, I mean, thanks. There's so much. I mean, I knew a little bit about the ship design and some of it, but it's amazing the absolute attention to detail. I mean, I suppose you're lucky in that you've started this cruise line at a point where we do have the technology, but also I suppose people are becoming increasingly concerned. So
we have the awareness. It's one of the key drivers for people choosing a holiday now. People are consciously choosing brands that are taking care of the planet. And yes, we are a cruise line, so yes, there are some things that come with the cruise line, but we are very responsible in offsetting as much as that as we possibly can. And we ban single-use plastics, for example. We don't allow any single-use plastics on board. Typically on a cruise line, there are up to 70 different types of single-use plastic on a ship. So we ban them, and when you do that, you have to look at different ways of having technology, having different ways of having things that are much more environmentally friendly. So, for example, if we want disposable cutlery, it's not plastic; it's bamboo. So again, it's fully recyclable. It can be reused more than once. It can be washed, etc. So it just means that we add a complete more plant-based products rather than plastic-based products when it comes to single-use plates and all those kind of things.
Okay, excellent, thank you. So you mentioned a little bit about the cabins there and how they go to sleep. And in your presentation, you also mentioned that you have a number of solo cabins, which I hope will be of interest to, because we've got quite a lot of solo travellers. And Liz in particular has asked to find out more about what activities are offered to solo passengers on board, because I know some cruise lines try to help ease solo travellers in with perhaps a solo mixer. Do you offer anything like that for solo travellers? Or
yeah, so we don't have a traditional kind of cruise line program where we have particular times and things for social mingles and those kind of things. What I would say is we also don't have a cruise director. We have a happenings cast. So we have a whole cast of people that have expertise in particular areas. So we've got somebody who's the artist, we've got somebody who's the kind of magician and a bit more alluring and different. We've got the hostess. What I would say is that happenings cast is there to make sure that you get the most out of your holiday. And everything we do is themed around almost kind of mindsets of people. So people who are into art will find things that appeal to them without having to go sit in an art auction. The artist will suddenly start painting a watercolor and you get to witness this happening in front of you, and they'll point you in the different ways to learn the skills yourself. But those that happenings cast are there to make sure that our sailors are finding the right things for them. We have an app that will point them in the right direction of things that they will enjoy as well. And the more that you do on the app, the more you say you're going to different venues, the more the app becomes intelligent and suggests other things to you. So what I would say is that happenings cast is your route to be able to find your best holiday, and by telling them what you want, they will help you curate your journey, and through that very nature of curating your own journey, you will be with like-minded people. So for example, if you were talking to the happiness cast and you said, I'm really into food and drink, I'm really into cocktail and mixology, and I really want to learn more about that, they will tell you what's happening, so you can go to those locations. And then following on from that, there may be a wine pairing thing that you may actually think is suitable for you. So you end up kind of naturally finding the people that have similar interests to you by curating your own journey. So I think the app itself and the technology and our happenings cast will definitely help any solo travelers really find what's going to be best for them, and naturally find people that are like-minded to them as well.
Yeah, so I suppose the happenings are a big part of those one-of-a-kind experiences you mentioned in the spontaneous street style entertainment, weren't they? I mean, I think we saw some of them when we were on board, although I think I missed the start of the conga line or something.
I like to say some of the entertainment, think of it like Covent Garden. So you go to Covent Garden in London and you don't really know what you're going to see from day to day, but kind of things happen and you see this incredible talent just happening. And we like that spontaneous approach of things could just happen. And we like the fact that you might not have seen it, but other people would have done. And no two journey is the same, because these things will happen in different ways. Equally, we've got scheduled entertainment, so people will want to see a particular show at a certain time. They will know when things are happening, so there will be, the app will tell them exactly what's happening and when, so they won't miss out on that. But we like the fact that an acoustic band might just pop up in the dockhouse and you're enjoying a glass of rosé, and next thing you know, this band happens, and next thing you know, there may be a conga line, and that happens then, and there's a whole conga line happening. So there's lots of different things that will pop up and just happen around you. But the happenings cast are completely different in the sense that normally you would have one cruise director, right? And the cruise director is the star of the show, and they have to kind of do everything. We've kind of broken that job down and said, well, actually, we'd rather have people that are true experts in their area. So you don't have an entertainment person running a yoga class and a line dancing class because they're just having to put, you know, they have to be a jack of all trades. We actually have people who are really qualified artists in their own right. You can follow them on social media. They are true, genuine, that's their genuine job. We'll have a yogi instructor that is a yogi master, that's their job, like that that's their specialism. And we try and do that with lots of different elements. And the jobs do change from time to time. So there may be a watercolor artist on one voyage, and the next voyage is completely different. She's got off and somebody else has come on, and it may be sculptures. So there is all kind of different aspects of it, but we don't do the art auctions to go, right, come along, grab a free glass of wine and go try and sell you some pictures. Instead, it's about actually the transformational experience of a watercolor happening in front of you. That is the experience, not just trying to sell you a picture.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think that's I mean, I don't know if it's actually possible to pick one, but what do you think is the biggest change from traditional cruising that Virgin Voyages has made? I mean, that cruise director thing is a big one, I would say.
We've taken aspects that are happening in traditional cruise world, and we've looked at what happens, how do people live their life in the real world. So there's things that happen in cruise that happen just because it's cruise. And people don't necessarily live their life in that way. So particularly when it comes to restaurants, I don't know anybody that says they go to the best cities in the world. They might arrive in Vegas, New York, London, wherever it might be, and say, I want to find a restaurant that has 1,000 people. And I want to dine at 6:30 or 8:30, and I want to be told what to wear. Like, that's not naturally how we live our lives.
No.
So we looked at it and said, okay, how can we re-engineer dining, for example? And I think that is the biggest change, because we designed the ship to remove a main dining room. So there isn't this big venue where 1,000 people all arrive at the same time, and you have that feeling of mass because there's so many people together. When you have dining of that way, the only thing you can offer is kind of pre-plated dining. So meals are often pre-plated. You'll often see them on TV shows when they go behind the scenes, and all these plates are all stacked high, and starters are pre-plated, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's what you have to do when you're feeding that many people at once. So we said, okay, how can we be more like a city? And how can we have 20 different eateries that all have their own restaurants, how they have their own kitchen, they all have their own wait team, they all have their own head chefs, and they all run as a separate entity. And that feels much more like going to a city or how people live their real lives. You can book them before you get on board, or you can use the app to book as you go. You can join virtual queues. So if the table's not available, you can join a virtual queue, and you book the table in the same way that you do with OpenTable or any of the other apps where you can book restaurants on land. So it's a very, very similar way to how people live their lives. There shouldn't be this, what I say, we're a new product, and we're exciting in the way that we deliver it, but people will get on board and will feel very familiar because they're used to living their lives in that way. And we really try to merge the two. Cruising is incredible. I've come from a cruise background. I've worked in cruise for 10 years, and cruising holidays are amazing. But we wanted to go, how can we merge the best of land and sea? So you have got that life. Our restaurants all have windows to the sea because we want people to be connected to the ocean. Our wake restaurant is a steak and seafood. It has huge windows overlooking the wake of the ship, because we still love the idea that we're at sea. We are a cruise line. We want to be connected to the ocean, but we want people to be able to do it on their terms. And, you know, dine when they want, where they want, with who they want, without a dress code, without formalities. And it's a relaxed luxury, which I think a lot more people are looking for these days.
Yeah, I mean, God, I think we've talked a lot about dining, but I mean, it was fantastic. But I mean, the test kitchen I particularly loved when I was on board. I mean, that was just,
And normally that would be a specialty dining restaurant, right? Normally that would be something that you're paying extra for. You'd normally pay $50, $60, $70 for. But again, we wanted people, like, one night you could be having a Korean barbecue. The other night you're in the test kitchen and you're having this wonderful theatrical experience of these meals being created, and you not really know what you're going to have until it arrives. And then the other night you might be going, right, I just want fresh pizza on deck, and I just want to have some pizza and some fresh pitchers and some hummus, and I just want to kind of keep my flip-flops on and relax. Like, we want people to have those kind of uptown, downtown type feel of a city, where one night you might want to put your best shirt on and go and have fine, you know, amazing steak in the wake. Other nights it may just be having sushi bites and just fresh meze cart that's roaming around. You just want to graze as the night goes on. That's how people live their life, we think. And it's not about, you know, going and having the same kind of 6 courses every night and going to a restaurant every night with the same people. It is about having that flexibility and that choice. Also, when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to our theatre, we've transformed that way, because we wanted to create new amazing types of entertainment, but the people we wanted to work with said to us, we can't work in a traditional theatre mode all the time.
Yeah.
We do need shows that are different and are more immersive. So our theatre transforms. So it can be in a runway mode with the audience at both sides. We can have it in traditional theatre mode, or we can have it with no seats whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you're actually stood in the action as it takes place around you. So re-engineering a theatre was a big job, because traditionally theatre are at the front of the ship and they stay the same the whole time. So in fact, when you go to a theatre on our ship, it will be different every time, which is not just different entertainment. The whole room looks different. Because it transforms.
Yeah, that's true. I think I saw it in the runway form and the open form, and you wouldn't really realise it was the same route. It was just like, and I mean, okay, obviously, you know, like you, I love cruising as well, but actually, I would say that's probably, for me, in traditional cruising, one of the downsides is the entertainment. I usually say I'd have a 2-drink minimum to get through it, but but your entertainment was mind-blowing. It was so yeah. I mean, my mum particularly loved that dual reality. It was hilarious. She kept sort of jumping. She was literally on the edge of her.
I know, it does make you, it's really on the edge of the scene. I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but it's roughly based on the story of Romeo and Juliet. And you know, when you walk in, you get assigned a side, whether you're a red or a blue. And you kind of do get kind of behind your team, right? And you do really want your team to win. But it does tell the story all the way through. And there's this it's a really clever narrative. But the acrobat, the way they slide down the pole and end up like half a centimetre from the bottom, especially when you're in the front few rows, your heart is kind of in your mouth. But that's what it's all about. It's not, again, it came down to the research. Our sailors, the people who really were looking for a different experience, they didn't want to see a watered down Broadway show. If they wanted to see a Broadway show, they'd go to Broadway. They didn't want they didn't want a substitute or a 40-minute version of We Will Rock You. What they wanted was something that you're going to need to blow my mind. You're going to need to give me something that I haven't seen before, or something that I feel is incredible value for money, that I think, well, I would have paid to see that. So that's kind of the biggest challenge that we had, to try and do those things.
Well, you certainly met that challenge, and
And for example, you'd have been there seeing dual reality one night. If we were sailing, the next night you may be going to see another show which is in traditional theatre mode, and it is a bit more of a traditional theatre production. And so you do have those kind of peaks and troughs of the types of entertainment. We don't just want to be kind of full on all the time. We want to be able to have a really nice vibe to the experiences that we offer.
Excellent. So what itineraries are proving really popular for UK sailors? Right, I know you're not currently sailing, obviously, but you know, people can still book, and they can even book on a Valiant Lady.
Yeah, they can. So the Mediterranean itineraries are definitely proving popular with the UK audience, because it's a 2-hour flight to Barcelona. It's really easy. We dock in a really unique location in Barcelona. So typically ships that leave Barcelona, you have to go over the big bridge, and ships are all docked at kind of the other side on kind of a man-made road. We actually dock at the World Trade Center in Barcelona. So we actually dock downtown, which is really good location for us. So if anybody is doing a med itinerary, you can go and drop your bags off, go and explore the city and walk back to the ship really easy. So that's really good. So the med itineraries, particularly the French days and Ibiza nights itinerary, that's the one that has overnights in Monte Carlo and overnight in Ibiza. So that's the most popular Mediterranean one. That's doing really well. But the 2 itineraries that are actually proving even more popular, which I was most surprised about, is our transatlantic repositioning cruises. So we actually have Valiant Lady leaving the Med to go to the Caribbean in October 2021. That's a 15-night itinerary. And right now that's leading in with flights, 1,750 for a 15-night itinerary. And that includes your tips, all your service charges, your restaurants, your basic beverages, all of the shows, the entertainment, your fitness classes. So there's lots included within that. So that's 15 nights. Bear in mind we have 20 eateries, so you pretty much get to visit most of them.
I think that's what I'd be coming at it from. I'd be like, well, you know, I want to go and sample as many of the restaurants as many times as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So 15 nights is a good way to do that. And then interestingly, there's another transatlantic in May 22, which goes the other way around, and it's doing Miami back to the Med. So I think that they're proving popular because I think A, the longer itineraries, but B, people want that downtime of running away to sea. They have 8 nights, 8 sea days on them. So people love the idea of, you know, being able to go away and relax. And the time of year that they sail, they're sailing the southern Atlantic, so from Barcelona to Miami. So you'll have great weather all the way across. So to be able to go and relax Sunday and experience all these amazing restaurants, go to the award-winning spa, you know, it really is what dreams are made of. So I think that's why they're proving really popular.
And actually, you know, sorry, this is probably going to be my last question, but you've mentioned the spa several times, and actually I know one of our clients, Janet, is, you know, onboard spa and sauna facilities are really important to her. You know, I've handled some of her bookings, and that is one of her sort of quite a key factor for her. And I know obviously with the current, you know, COVID restrictions, a lot of, although on land, gyms are opening or being shut, but spas and saunas are, you know, still out of bounds. So how, when you're able to return to sailing, will the spa and sauna facilities be, you know, how would they be impacted?
They'll be open, and the pools will be open as well. So we will limit numbers, obviously, and to make sure that we limit to allow social distancing. The Redemption Spa is already award-winning purely because of the design. It's designed to have lots of space per individual, so it is a place for you to go away and can completely unwind, and so that will still happen. What I would suggest is there's probably going to be periods of time where you'll be allocated a slot, so you may book for a particular time, and then what will happen then is the spa will close for an hour, it's likely to be deep cleaned, and then it will open for the next group of people to come in. So there'll be limited slots, but that's the way it'll be managed. It'll be managed so we can keep it open. We want all of our facilities open. The important point to note as well is we will be sailing with much less passengers. So we'll be sailing around about 60% occupancy, certainly for the first few months as cruising gets going again. So not only that, there'll be all the facilities that you expect, there'll be much less people on board as well. So to be able to get one of those slots in the spa will be much easier than you would normally be, because obviously there's just over half people on board. So there's much more opportunity to do things like that. But yeah, the intention is we never would close any of those things, because they're an important part of the experience. So, you know, health and well-being is really important to us. We may just have to do it in a different way. Like I say, for certain hours of the day it'll be closed, and we will deep clean, and then we will open back up again, and then it'll work that way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Shane. You've been brilliant with your presentation and you know, answering our questions. And
thank you, Amy. Thank you for inviting me along. And if you or any of your clients have any other questions, you've got my details. Drop me a note, and we'll be more than happy to help you. And we look forward to welcoming some of your clients on board in the future.
Excellent. Thank you. And I hope to be back on board soon as well.
Yes, exactly. We'll get you sailing for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us for our Virgin Voyages presentation. I hope you found it informative and interesting, and I know I certainly learnt quite a bit through Shane's presentation and our Q&A. So if Virgin Voyages seems like the sort of thing that appeals to you, and you want to take to the high seas with your inner rock star, then give us a call on 01234 326 758, or email us at sales@cruiseselect.co.uk, and any member of our team will be really happy to help you. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and take care.